Okay, interesting. Twitch has changed the way that it does tag. We'll see if these update, see how it works. If the system works the way it looks like it works, it makes a hell of a lot more sense instead of using the tags that they had sort of pre-designed, which honestly didn't seem to cover all needs naturally. Looks like they've got more of a free form tag design that you just type in your tags, and I guess if people look for those specific tags, and that's what happens. So cool. We'll see if that works, if it helps. I am 7 minutes late, but I needed to restart my machine, and it is now super overcast, so it is I had to actually use a little bit more lighting and stuff today as well. It's like dark outside. It's fall now. Hey, Dram. All right, just restarted my machine, so let's get everything going again. Well, I guess I could play some music in the background, huh? We're about to hop in game in a minute, so we'll just wait and we'll listen to our music. I really wanna let me see if Robert will let me play his rendition of one of our songs that he was playing live at a public spa in Finland, I guess. Hey, Aldrich. Adric. What's up, Keith? What are you doing today, troublemaker? Flee, save, quit. Good morning. Good morning to you. For whatever reason, that made me think of the Instagram decided over breakfast that I should rewatch the Nate Diaz Conor McGregor fight, the first fight between the two of them again, and I did, and it was a great way to get hyped in the morning. I love that fight. Sorry, I'm just setting everything up again. I just restarted my machine. Importing stuff. Hey, Chinny D. Loading up Unity. Heidi. Get Heidi going again. Boom. Oh, let me make sure that audio actually works for you guys here. I'll play something real quick. Because I've had some wacky stuff happen whenever I restart my machine. AKA like every stream. Hey, Free Snakes. How are you doing? I wonder if I can't imagine. Robert's a rock star. He's not going to mind if I play his rendition from the spa in the background really quick. Robert, if you're listening and you mind, just let me know, but I'm hoping that you don't mind. I really would like to show the video if I'm going to have the music playing. All right, I'll save it and then we'll play it soon. Okay, so this looks to be working. Are you sure? I am. So let me hit pause here. And let's just get into game really fast. Let's make a new character, get into game. And while people are still waking up and stuff, let's just kind of run and see. Added a couple quests before I went on the little break over the weekend to Cologne. I stopped by Gamescom for one afternoon, like Friday afternoon, meet up with a couple people, and just kind of run through and see what Gamescom looks like. I did that while I was in Cologne, but I was mainly down there to hang out with Jasmine's family. And they had like a local neighborhood fest, and we drank so much beers. Oh my gosh. All right. I am sure that I want to start. How was your weekends, everybody? Anybody go to Gamescom as well? No? Whoa, that's loud. Sorry if I just blasted your eardrums, but something's got to wake you up. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this guy? Yeah. Blasting eardrums when opening the game means it's legit. Yeah, that was part of the direction for the music. Flea said the weekend was great and hectic. Birthday party for the 2-year-old. Oh, that... I could see that being kind of crazy. Was it a big one? Lots of presents and shit? Oh, wait. No, I didn't want to do that. I need to go back out. Oh, darn it. I'm going to blast your eardrums again. I imagine you can have fun doing a birthday party for a 2-year-old, but then, like, when they really start to, like, I guess, understand the concept of gifts, probably gets even wilder. I was showing my wife, Jasmine, there's like a guy I follow on Instagram that's just got like all this 1980s stuff. And it's funny when I'm going through his photos and videos of all those 1980s toys and stuff, I can tell her like, oh yeah, my parents got me this for Christmas, and my grandmother got me this, but it was missing pieces. That's why she got it on discount. All sorts of stuff like that. And thinking back on how cool it was to be a kid. Lots of things to paint, so now you need to be on high alert. I mean, that's a bold move. It's like giving your 2-year-old things to paint with. I'm feeling a little blonde. Hair color, oh, eyebrow color, I forgot. There we go. Going for a bit of a blonde look, blonde hair, blue-eyed Azalea. That'll work. Boom. All right. Yeah, I forgot about that bug. I'm there. Don't worry, I'm there. The Hulk Hogan mustache? Yeah, I didn't consider that. I guess it is. I guess it is. When it is blonde, it becomes the Hogan. Yeah, so those of you that haven't been around a while, or those of you that weren't here on Tuesday, which I didn't stream on Thursday because I was out of town. Lots of things happening in the background right now. So, if it's been a while, should be cool for you. Robert has been working on getting new sounds in. We just got a new sound engine integrated. WWise, I guess is the way you say it, or just Wise, or Wise with two W's. Wise. Anyway, so new sound engine integrated, and Robert has been working with Gary and maybe others on getting sounds in and hooked up, and I know Nick's been assisting with that, and yeah, so that's been going on. We've got 2 animators assisting us that you don't know yet. One is working on some Jackal animations. She is based out of Australia. Not to dox her, I know it's a small place. And then the other person has been hammering away on human animations, just getting a ton done. And he's based out of Sweden. So we've got new animations that have been coming online, new sounds coming online, some UI work going down, placeholder. Hey, Demon, what's up? Placeholder, paper doll, and other stuff, but you're starting to be able to get a little bit more of a feel for like the aesthetic and design. Yeah, so Chinny D, the one animator out of Australia, she's a student and she doesn't have a ton of time, but she wanted to work with us on some stuff. And we liked her animations that we saw from another project she had been working on. Had a lot of character, a lot of charm. So she's doing what she can with her time. The animator out of Sweden. Oh, look at this guy. Who is you'll know him by the name Erkenstaff in like Discord and stuff. Anyway, he's got a lot more time. He's a freelance animator, also a good 3D artist and 2D artist and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's why he's been able to just kind of hammer away and work with the team on getting stuff integrated. So that's been pretty dope. Poor Pattis's computer problems. Hopefully those are resolved or close to resolved or don't come back or whatever. But he's starting to do some rework on the layout of the city. Pam and I have been working on basically just getting aligned on like quest implementation. And I've been running them through sort of the constraints that we've built into our quest system to try to recreate more of an old school feel. And iterating through some dialogue. So basically what I did was I wrote up a couple quests, like a 2-quest series for fighters. And then handed that over to him, and then he took it, embellished some of the dialogue and details and stuff like that, just from the world building angle. Then I took it and got it implemented like the Thursday before I left. But there are a couple of bugs I discovered with how our systems work that needed to get fixed, and they just got fixed, so that's cool. And now I've sent him a new outline for some ranger quests, similar sort of starter 2-quest progression, and taking a different approach. Instead of having him rewrite it, I'm going to have him just give me feedback on the dialogue I wrote and sort of pacing and details. Well, yeah, pacing and details, I think is a fair way to say it. I'll see what he gets back to me with tonight on that, and then I'll hammer those in tomorrow, and then we'll basically have examples of like fighter and ranger quests. And the goal for this month was to get started on that, and like depending on the approach, I thought I could probably get a lot more done, but working with Ham to try to integrate as much world building and lore and sort of hooks that lead to other things and early illusions and all of that stuff. It'll take a little bit more time than I was expecting, but I think once we get our rhythm after this next set, then I should be able to move pretty quickly on just hammering away at the low-end content so that we've got a base layer for all of the classes to look at and start to see how we feel about it. Do we like it? Do we want to change the approach? Do we need additional support in the systems? Because again, we're taking a very simplified sort of quest system approach, recreating that very, very old school classic quest feel. But we are integrating things like the mud objects, our text-based interactive objects, which now that we've got one of them in the fighter quest, I'll show you that in a minute. I can see where we want to extend some of that functionality probably, and it shouldn't take much to do it because the way it's built, it already pretty much does it. So a lot of stuff like that, and then that'll give us a base layer for early playtests and stuff to ensure that people have things to direct them for those first few hours of gameplay. And once all the starter quests are in, then we'll also be making sure there's a lot of different distinct one-off and world-building focus quests and interesting things that you can discover, similar to like the bone chip quest that Nick's already put in and stuff. So yeah, a lot of that's just going to be going on, and that's really going to wind up being more September than what I expected for August. Though I guess I kind of expected it either way. FanMax, thank you for the follow. That makes sense to folks. I feel like sometimes I'm just giving you details, and you may or may not give a shit. So you let me know. I'm here for you. Anyways, the bug that I found was because of, Gary explained it, because of something that was going on when it was looking for items. When I turned in my initial item, it was like, sorry, you don't have any room for me to give you an item in return, which was obviously not correct. And then it was eating my item. So that's not good. Belfaster, good morning, Archmage. Cool. I'm glad it's interesting to you. Bullet Catcher, we give a shit. We want more. I'd want more info. I just got the stream on in the background while working remote. Right on. Cool. All right. So since I'm going to try to do this, I'm going to do this kind of in a semi-legit manner, and just to see kind of the pacing and stuff. Let me go ahead and mim my abilities. We'll get those ready. Bugged quest eating items is classic. Leave it in. Move free. I'm on the internet too much. As soon as I saw bug and eating, I thought about the fact that we will be eating the bugs. Yeah, bug quests. What just happened there? Interesting. Let me try this one more time. All right. Maybe I won't be miming my abilities. You will not be eating bugs. They're delicious. Loving the character window? Right on. Nice. Audio command queue is full. Blocking caller. Reduce number of calls to sound engine or boost command queue memory. Thank you, WWise. I think I should probably take this and let some people know in case it is unknown. I'm the worst at reporting bugs. Let me see what else over there. We're doing this live, folks. Let's see. Okay, so I've got that. Need to post this for you programming nerds. Figure out. I just ran into this. Which keyboard languages? Which keyboard languages is it known? All right. Yeah, the whole quest eating items thing is not something we want to recreate. That'd be an interesting way of doing a classic game, like recreating all of the classic bugs as well, and then slowly, kind of like a TLP, removing them as we go. I'll be honest, I was logging in after being gone for the weekend to check on some stuff I was working on, and the music kicked in and I got so hyped. Technology, sleep good, but yeah, do you typically watch the VODs on Twitch or YouTube? I'm so horrible about getting my YouTube VODs uploaded in a timely manner. I apologize for that. There's really no excuse. Matter of fact, I even downloaded last Tuesdays to try to get it up before I left over the weekend, and I don't know what the hell impeded my ability to do that. Okay, so I may not be loading any abilities, it seems like. Or, nope. I guess I can. I'll just have to unpause the editor whenever it pauses. Twitch usually because I watch them usually 10 hours after you finish streaming. Okay, cool. That is definitely safest because of my slack ass. Pause. Unpause. Can you try resetting the UI via the menu? Will that basically reset all of everything that I've got set up here? All of my beautiful setup, Keith? I mean, I'll do it if you think it's a worthwhile thing to attempt, and will help you programmer types figure this stuff out. Then I'll definitely do it. I'll take one for the team. Oh. And we'll load the game again. Confidence is okay. Those of you that are new here, this usually doesn't happen to me. Yeah, our game has actually been ridiculously stable over the last 2 years. Coming up on 2 years, folks. This month is the month that we really consider it like our year mark. So, want to do a nice retrospective this month. We'll get you the August update in a bit, and then we'll be doing a retrospective. It's amazing how much the game is just how much the game has changed as a year. Think about it. We posted our ad for additional programmers and additional artists because it was only like 4 or 5 of us. September 1st of 2021. So, like, all these character models, human model improvement, character models, NPCs, the new Night Harbor, all that shit has happened this year. Everything, almost. Okay, so I have abilities loaded. That's good enough. This note... Take this note to Fidamius, Steel the Third, in the Night Harbor Garrison to beginning your training. Alright. You're loving the new free Night Harbor? Yeah, sorry, that was almost a Freeportian slip. Heyo. What? I'm busy. He is busy. What about this note? He's a very abrupt dude. Alright. Go speak to my sister Lorinda. Now get out of my sight. Oh man, he's gruff. The first version of Night Harbor is very oppressive. Not a nice place. Was it really oppressive? It was just small. What made it oppressive, Belfaster? That was not my intent. It was just small. And amateurly made. Hey, Dark Inside. You start your first day of work at your new job today in a couple hours? Right on. Congrats again on that. Dark Inside, I forget. Was that at the theater? Thank you, Flea. All right, Lorinda. Lorinda is currently... Yep, that's what I thought. Lorinda is currently a male model because we have a bug with the female model where it just shows the female geometry with the male shirtlessness, and it's not... It's as the kids on Twitter say, it's not a good look. I mean, she's not bad looking, but it's very inappropriate. All right, so what you got to say? Bunch of text. You guys can read it. I'm not going to read it out loud. I don't want to spoil it for you. All right, so she's sending me away. I've got to go find Elrond. He's doing the administrative stuff. You guys are like, oh my gosh, there's so much talking and going to people. Yeah, there is, but it gives you a little story. It lets you meet some people. It also makes it so that it's not just strictly like, hey, go do 5 of X right away. Cool. All right, Elrond. Hail. I'm thinking the humans in Single Gnome are much nicer inhabitants than the capsules were. Okay. The capsules were oppressing you. Dark Inside. How long do you have to work today? Is it like orientation and stuff? Or is it like full day work? So, he's given me parchment, charcoal, and a list. Can I move the list? Can I click on the list and move it? I guess not. Okay, to be collected for him. Frottage of the Talisman Standing Stone, a snake's fang, a skeleton's jawbone, a fire beetle's eye. Okay, well. I don't know what the first word means, so say, what is a frottage? Oh, it means a rubbing. Take the parchment and charcoal I just gave you and make a rubbing of the inscriptions on the surface of the central standing stone in the ruins of Tel Saman. All right, cool. I think I can do all of this. I mean, I'm naked. I don't have a light source, but I'm already doing stuff. All right. Orientation from 11:45 to 5:45. Oh man, that's a long day of orientation. Be sure to hydrate. Also, take a good look at their I want to know their selection of candies. Report back to us what delicious treats they have at the theater. All right, so I guess I started this about, I don't know, I can tell you exactly. Started this 10 minutes ago. They serve alcohol. That is definitely a delicious treat. I was thinking more like Twizzlers or whatever, but alcohol works. The Alamo Draft House in Austin, that was always a great place to go because they had, you know, full menu and a bar and all that stuff. Hey, Golden Gloves, thank you for 10 months. Appreciate it. Yeah, the last time I was at a theater was in Stockholm, like 2020-ish. And they served beer. That was great. Cool. All right. It is time for me to start killing things. I swear the scarab's eyes look a little more glowy than before. Interesting. Oh, there's a snake. Straight out the gate, the snake kicks me. Flea just asked Midborger plus Midborger Platzen with beer and recliners. Is that the one that it was in Stockholm? I really don't. Oops, I should be using my abilities. I really don't have the Swedish to be able to answer that properly. Jag talar inte svenska. So that was great. The loot window sounded like I was opening a crate. I was opening a snake-shaped crate. Belfaster said, we're spoiled here. There's like 5 competing companies in the area using that model. Food, bar, theater, studio, movie grill, Alamo Draft House, movie house, eatery, your favorite. And then there's 2 others you can't think of the names. Are some of them a little more budget than others? Are some of them like people drink and get a little rowdy and goofy, and then others it's a little more respectable? Got a snake egg. I bet you I could probably sell that and get a torch. Hey, Rev. Genghis Khan, what's up? You haven't been able to watch streams for a while, so I was online, hopped on. Yeah, the game's going well. It's good to see you. I'm almost pretty much healed. Hey, Battis. What's up, buddy? Studio Movie Grill was the first, I think. Their setup used to be a little more janky with very plain black rolling office chairs. Well, that's an interesting approach, but it was always better than a regular theater. Yeah, but the rolling office chairs. Oh, when I was a kid, that's right. When I was a kid in Florida, in Ocala, there was a place called Cinema and Pub. And my mom and I went and saw so many of like the classic 80s movies there. Saw Labyrinth for the first time there. And I remember they just had like these little round tables with chairs around them. Looking back on it, it's pretty ghetto setup, but it worked. You think the movie house eatery, because their chairs lay damn near flat? You don't like, you don't like when chairs only lean back as far as an airplane seat? Oh, you like, okay. I was like, Oh, man. All right. I probably should have rested up a little bit. I'll take a couple hits just for the skill points, and then I'll run this guy to the guard. All right. Whoa, let me move. Please don't stun me. Help me. Okay, thanks. So the music, I noticed the music plays through once now and then turns off. And we'll see if it comes back on, but I don't think it does. I was in here testing something and I don't think it came back on. So we may need to adjust that. And I don't hear, because we're redoing the sound implementation, there's not like the waves and stuff in the background. So it may be a little bit quiet in the background. I want you guys to be honest with me and let me know if you're like, it's too quiet when you're not talking, which when am I ever not talking? But anyways, should that occur, if it's too quiet, give me some polite feedback. And what I'll do is I'll just pop on. I've got some old school RuneScape music that I love in the background that I can play. So it doesn't get too quiet for you, for those of you just listening in. Tickets are usually cheaper at those places too, since I guess they're making it out on the food and drinks. Absolutely. Yeah. Making good cash too, because it's one of those things, it's one of those feedback loops, right? Because the more drinks you have, the more drinks you're going to have. And when you're having drinks and you also get hungry again and all that stuff. I can test that out, Chinny D. That's a fair assumption. Let's run down towards the water and see if it comes back on. Though I'm trying to keep an eye on my time and see how long it takes me to get through this quest. But it's probably going to take a while. I wouldn't be shocked if the quest takes me the rest of this play session. Are you crazy, or at some point did EQ have an in-game MP3 player? It did. Pattis, here's the seam. You thought something fell off? Because the music just kicked off. So there'll likely be a zone line here in this area once this gets turned into like maroon pieces and stuff to kind of give a base demarcation of the newbie yard. So just fun fact, I guess. I don't know. Still not hearing it. I got the feeling it just hasn't been re-implemented yet. Ignore the seam on the back of my head. Yep. Oh, look at the pretty water. Fezzik 181 said, yep, I had an MP3 player back when Alt-Tab was locked out. Setting up your other computer for lecture tape. I was just busting balls. You don't need to actually respond if you're doing stuff, Pattis. Yeah, I think when did we put that in? Because I remember you could access like all the EQ music like just through the directory with that thing if I'm not mistaken. We had like everything in a folder or whatever. When UI changed to XML? Okay. Pattis, right here. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I'm actually living in a danger zone. I probably could have got smacked by a Shira. Pattis, I noticed you're moving the in and stuff around. So that's cool to see. Alright, so I'm after snakes, skeletons, a beetle when I'm a little bit stronger. We got a little navigation issue here. And the jackal pup doesn't care though. Once it's aggro, it'll follow me. I may repop the zone, clean that up, also to cheat a little bit. For those of you that are new here and just curious about like the terminology, Repop is just a GM command that repopulates the data. So it just pulls the latest data from the database. First, let me make myself a GM. And then I'll repop. And you'll see everything disappear. And basically it just reloads data. Fresh spawns, blah, blah, blah. Use it a lot when testing quests, or honestly, any data change in a database. Because I can come in, make a change while I'm just standing in here, repop it, and check to see if my change is good. So, a lot of that going on whenever we're doing work. So I'm gonna play some music in the background. I believe I'm gonna play some music in the background. We'll see. Play that for a little bit, and then if we have any people in here that have never heard our music before, then I will at some point I'll switch over to a playlist that's got our stuff. You can find it on our YouTube. Cool. Oh, patrolman, don't steal my skeleton. Oh, he's screwed. There went the skeleton. Patrolman's out of control. All right, so we got a snake here and a skeleton, but I want to get the skeleton first just because. No, he's not holding any equipment. Always skeleton first. Little bony loot pinata. Alright. Cool. I'm just out here venturing in my underwear. Oops, I don't have the room for this. Yeah, just destroy it, I guess. So, the interesting thing here is, if I had a buddy with me, we'd be making pretty short work of this quest, I think. But I don't have a buddy. Slash friend, you have no friends. Oh fuck. And the snake's got me. A lonely robot. A very lonely robot. Okay, I'll take it. That's still a bug, but I'll take it. I thought we fixed that bug. Okay. Should I cheat? Or should I delete that snake fang because I didn't earn it? Sethric said, can you explain how what loot ends up on a mob? It's random, but everything has a % of ending up on a mob, more or less. What controls it? Okay, Keith, I will not cheat. Bye, Snake Fang. It was nice owning you. Did I get around to check out the soundtrack for Tainted Grail? I don't know that I did. Apologies if you suggested that before. Let me bring that up on a tab so I don't forget it. YouTube. I'm gonna click it and I'm gonna hit pause real quick. Okay. Cool. I'll definitely check it out this time. So Sethric, essentially I've got a table that defines here. We'll look at it. Bring this up over here. Trying to find this, and then so we got loot table, item group, and not that one. So we got this. I think it's relatively safe to show. And then where is my other? And bring this up. And let me find the same example. D beetle. All right. So we use these two tables. Loot table item group and NPC loot table item group. And what it is basically I can create a drop table over here. I didn't create this one, but I can create it. And the way that we've been using them is essentially you can have these various IDs set up. Let me find a different one. So, and then we'll go here. So I can create a unique drop table that's got a percentage chance that one of these 3 items, or in this case, these 3 items, or actually, yeah. Let's see if we've got more here. So like this one would be a drop table for all rusty plate armor. And then we got percentage chance that it will be one of these items, and it basically rolls down the list. And we define here whether or not it can be equipped by the NPC. And you can get everything from scraps through one of the various item slots in here. And then we can attach this to any number of NPCs. And I wonder how, if any, none of them have the armor actually on it. So they got rusty weapons. And so this allows us to attach the same table. So like this one, a better example, I guess, since it's actually used. is like rusty weapons. So we have all of these rusty weapons here. Percentage chance they'll drop. They can be equipped by, in this case, skeletons. And then you'll see in searching for rusty weapons, all of these different mobs have the drop table associated with them. And so there's a percent chance, 100% chance that it will roll through this list and see if it's equipped. We, in theory, could reduce this amount, which I've done with the Ashira. I think there's a quest item on here that it's the only item. It's basically got a 100% chance to drop here, but then only a 30% chance to drop on sort of the attached table for the level 4 Ashira, and a 15% chance for the level 2 Ashira. So the idea there is that when this rolls, if it says, all right, it's going to drop, then it's a 100% chance that you'll get it, right? So it's guaranteeing that, because if there was some other percentage, then I'd have to do math that I'm not really capable of, having gone to public high school in Alabama. But in this case, what I wanted to do was have the lower level version of the mob drop it less frequently than the higher level version of the mob, and give you a 100% chance. So maybe a poor explanation. There's probably a much better way of explaining this if I was a bit smarter, but I'm kind of a trained monkey when it comes to this stuff. I know roughly well enough how it works to make stuff happen, but I'm not going to sit down and like talk you through my theory on probability or some shit, because I don't have one. And then the way that that's set up, it's just set up in a way where it's easy to associate the drop table with any NPC. So yeah, I'm excited to see the Ashira models in game as well. So Sethric said that's amazing. So something you have a low drop chance on would make quest for that item. Kind of the opposite. You would just have a lower drop chance that we would wind up tweaking based on whether or not we feel it's dropping enough for a quest. And then the rest of it will tweak the values based off of the frequency with which we'd like to see the items enter the economy. Fishing confirmed. Yeah, we've already got fishing in. Lee, we have got fishing in. We'll probably continue to iterate on the system. Maybe make it more of a mini game or something later, but basic fishing is in. Alright, I can equip that. I got this. Got a rusty maul. Cool. Let me go sell a couple things and get a light source. Yeah, Nicodemus. I'm most familiar with just sort of like generated IDs. But we started with human readable IDs and have just been kind of building everything that way. For an explanation on the pros and cons that, I mean, I'm sure you probably already know most of the pros and cons, but explanation on that, you'd have to grab like Ollie. I love his little leaky roof here. We need to give him a little campfire or something. Claw scraps. Bone chips. I forget. What? He doesn't want those anymore. Cool. Actually, does he want any of this shit anymore? No. Ah, he bought that. Cool. Buy a torch. Alright, we're in business. That's a good enough start. Ollie, where is he? He's around. He's been a little busy lately, but he's around. Being the first humanoid NPC model made, does that mean that Shira will have a pretty big role in this region of the game? Yes. I would not be surprised to discover they have all sorts of lore and content associated with them. Yeah, he's only been at 1200% efficiency lately. What's up with that? Slacker. He's been in Discord and stuff more than I have lately. Alright, Snake Fang. Oh, I got it on my own. I didn't cheat. Are you happy now, Keith? I'm gonna destroy these. Fire Beetle, still yellow to me. Chatting with someone who said they only play games that have fishing. For some people, fishing is everything. I could see why. I mean, it's relaxing. Watch out for that Shira Scouts. In the future, in the future merch shop that sells the capsule plushies, can we also get snake-shaped crates with opening lids? Or can we? What about a snake plushie that just makes that sound when you squeeze it? A zone record and world record list for each fish type would be awesome. Stuff like that. Stuff like that is cool. Would it need to be a leaderboard, or what if you just talk to like fishing NPCs and they'll tell you the story of Flee Save Quit, who's caught the biggest fish at blah 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 pounds, ounces, or whatever length, weight. If fishing is in the game, that means cooking is in the game, which means stat food is in the game. It could be. Just hasn't been. Well, there was a cooking recipe. There was at least one cooking recipe in. Nick had a cooking recipe in right when we put in the ability to do recipes. Pretty sure. I know there's a lot of stuff that Ollie wants to do with trade skills. No. So kind of letting it. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this because I'm doing a quest at the moment. Cool. Let me run and get a bag as well, I guess. So I gotta get with Ollie because I know that he's got a lot of ideas on how he wants to approach like the actual implementation of trade skills. But I think the system that we already have in, the support that we already have in, will work with that eventuality. So we should be able to put in like simple sort of kits and recipes and stuff like that, just to kind of show it off. I guess my only hesitation is like how far do we go down that path with stuff that's... Oh shit. I'm taking this to the wrong people. Maybe this guy will buy critter bits. How far do we want to like actually go down the path of creating like placeholder content of that sort, only to have to get rid of it later? Any indication yet on if any, some, or all trade skill adjacent systems will be interactive like mini games or more manual container combine pass fail? So the goal is to have a mix, and some of the things that we call trade skills are like strange skills, but we lump them all under the same umbrella, like spycraft or whatever. So it'll be a mix, and I know the desire is to be able to support a little bit more on the minigame front for certain things like fishing or whatever, or lock picking potentially. But at a minimum, it will be the more manual containers and combines with some quality of life improvements there at a minimum. But again, I think it's a big enough area that we're best served waiting until... Does he want that? I don't think he wants any of this shit, to be honest. Alright. Alright. We're gonna have to run some more. And I can't remember if there's a merchant right here in this area that's not the Shifty Gnome that'll buy critter bits. Pretty sure there was, but... let's see, the trade skill stuff's going to be enough work, and it's enough of a point of interest for folks that I think it's best served for us to just wait until we really get started in earnest on that stuff, and then we'll be having a lot of conversation around. Because I know I've got opinions, Ollie's got opinions, a lot of the team have opinions, you guys might have opinions, if I had to guess. And so I don't think it's that far off. Oh my god, I just sold my snake fang. Why'd I do that? Ugh. What's it gonna cost to get a snake fang back? 1 silver. Alright, I'll buy it back. You son of a bitch. Does he still have some stuff on him that he shouldn't have that I can buy while I'm here? Cheat a little bit, be quicker. Nope, not really. No cheating? What? Buying my snake fang back was not cheating, Keith. Any gathering planned? Yes, we've got gathering in and gathering node support in as well already. Are shear models in the build? Watched Dukin the other day work on them. They look good. I don't believe they are. I haven't seen them in game. Usually if it was gonna, if it's in the build or in game, it would have already been posted in Slack, and so I haven't seen anything there. I don't have enough for anything he's got, but I know there's a bag merchant over here and they've got a little bit more variety. Keith is watching me like a hawk this morning. I know. It's not really fair. I'll buy this pouch. My inventory is full. You son of a gun. Alright. Put my pouch on my belt. Put that pouch on my belt as well. Now I've got infinite inventory. And I think I probably look cool. Yep, I got belt pouch. I got 2 belt pouches. Would you look at that? I've never put on 2 belt pouches before. This is a first. Okay, well. Endless inventory space. Look at this. 4 slots. Yeah. So I put like a random amount of experience on each stage of the quest so far. I think it's a little bit too high. Because just from the little bit of, like basically the first steps of that quest put me at like half a level of experience, so. Is that motion blur when you pan or just Twitch artifacts? I don't believe there's any intentional motion blur. It could be frame rate from me playing in the editor and streaming at the same time. It could be also Twitch, or it could be a combination of the above. Belfaster said, I wonder where Ollie will draw influences from for trade skills. I've had a bit of a board game revolution over the past 5 years or so, and wonder if any cool board game systems will have some effect on those designs for systems that would be more interactive. I love systems in Euro games like Scythe and Agricola. We have limited choices and every choice seems like a good one at the moment. I know that he is a big fan of essentially any game that is focused on like building shit and managing resources, etc. Oh, Jackal Pup's on me as well. I should have paid attention. Strafe run, strafe run. Alright. Defense is only a 2. I guess I have not been getting hit. I wonder... Oh, it's going to be kind of treacherous to go out there and interact with the stone that's got the inscription on it. There's a lot of stuff that's going to want to attack me on the way. So far I have 1 quest item of the 4. Snake Fang. For my bone chips, oops. For my bone chips into here, so I don't have to think about them. Hey, Grix. Maybe you need a group? I do need a group. Who would like to hop in and help me out? I mean, you won't be able to do that for a while, but I was just curious as to who would be interested. Can we see the quest text? If I scroll all the way back up in my chat log. All right. Oh no. You stay away. Alright, so need that. I need a fire beetle eye. I need Stoop Loop said, unfortunately you stream while I work, so I can't join and play, but can casually keep you in the background. Well, in the future, when we get to the point where we're getting folks into playtests and stuff, first of all, I think there will be a certain amount of you not having to worry about when I'm online, but we'll also I'll change up my stream schedule and stuff based off of play tests and all of that in the future. So is the spoken text from NPCs? Yeah. Sorry, Nicodemus, it is. There's no quest journal or anything like that. Stoop, I mean, I'll give you permission to blow off work. I don't know how much your work cares. Oh shit, this guy's mauling me. Labor Day weekend coming up would be a good weekend for unplanned pre-alpha playtest. Wish it was that easy. So, the interesting thing is, the basic ability to do that is there. We've integrated the installer, patcher, launcher system using Sola, their system. So members of the team have used that to install the game on their second machines and things like that. So, but before we get to a point where we're bringing people in and releasing the client out in the wild, there's definitely some security stuff that we want to work through. Naturally, we want to have more content in game, fix a number of bugs, get some of our initial support systems in just so that we can start testing them and making use of them. I don't know if you guys saw it. Is it slash bug? Oh, it's probably just in the report issue. We've already got bug reporting and stuff in, and it dumps into a database for us. And it's pretty cool little system. It even has, it's essentially, it's really helpful to us, instead of having a freeform system, to have it so that you guys can pre-classify the bugs to some degree for us, but we can also give this feedback. I forgot that I wrote this. Category, broken spawn. Subcategory, NPC is not spawning. It's likely not broken. Keep waiting. NPC is spawning in the wrong location. Okay. If possible, please have the problematic NPC targeted when submitting this report. And so then it'll dump that data to us and stuff so that we don't have to guess and stuff. I don't know if I mentioned this, but my first job in the industry was in customer service. And when I first got there, it was just freeform, data entry, help, bug. And it was such a pain in the ass that one of my first recommendations was just can't we get the players to classify or categorize some of the shit for us? And can't we pull some of this data? Yeah, the crack staff is not priced very high in our game, so don't get excited, Turnip. But now I'm level 2. Customer service is whack. I will never go for it. What? Dark Inside customer service is not whack. No worries, Turnip. And we may reprice it at some point. Oh man, son of a gun. I went out here prematurely. Can't do customer service, too many Karens. Well, you gotta toughen up, Dark Inside. My mom's name's Karen. She's not really. Oh shit, Jackal. She's not super Karen-y. If you do up the price of the cracked staff, I want to help you guys implement some analytics to track the trajectory of players who get them versus don't early on. What behavior are you looking to understand? I would say, actually, I may be lying if I say that. So maybe I shouldn't. I was about to say, I could have sworn that most of my customer service experience was pleasant, but I don't know if that's true. I remember being pretty frustrated when I worked in customer service. Basically, players who get a full plat within the first few levels are X% more likely to reach a certain level, etc. It'd be interesting to see if there's any truth to it. Oh, if the impact of acquiring a cracked staff on day one retention, day 1, day 3, day 7. Come to find out, all of the people. Damn, it took 2 whacks to kill him. You need to up your game, Adnan. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting if like all of the 60,000 people playing EverQuest right now, they were just the ones that got cracked staffs in the first hour of the game, 1999. Iron Spider said, I was in customer service for a long time. It was enjoyable until COVID. Lots of companies handled that poorly. Oh yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, I mean, so customer service was like a weird up and down in EQ. There was a lot of opportunity to zoom around the world and help people with stuff and actually feel, you know, like you're doing some good for the community. And definitely ran into a lot of people that had legitimate problems. That when we addressed them, they were genuinely grateful and having a good experience and happy to see us and all that. And then, you know, part of the job was also to be like basically a cop and see, you know, deal with people trying to con us out of items and all of that stuff. Excuse me. And then we had a lot of that stuff that's like, you know, the people running around yelling inappropriate stuff in a zone or whatever, where we had to snatch them up. But even some of those were kind of enjoyable just because the people were so idiotic that it broke up your night a bit. But Keith, thank you for your generosity. Please save quit. Enjoy your gifted sub. Nicodemus said, at work I have error routines that cover everything I can think of. If it throws an error that I did not plan, it throws a error. It's Nick's fault. Call him at 555-555-5555. Give him a fix-it message. Well, that's nice personal service. Dark inside. That is silly. Good morning, well below average. Nala said my buddy got moved to a white room in EQ by a GM. Well, they were under investigation. All right, to the death, and I am gonna die. Okay. Good. We'll treat that as a learning moment. Thank you, Iron Spider. We've got some new death animations that will be going in, I believe. I don't think that is... I think that's the old one. Oh my gosh. A scout on me. Enjoy your lecture. I'll be in Slack this evening, Pattis. Okay. Let me sit back down. That camera work after death, dramatic. I feel for your loss. Yeah. Maybe, I wonder how hard it'd be to tweak it, have it be a little bit slower. Oops, I gotta reload my abilities. A little bit slower ascent. I'm only using strike at the moment, so really I'm just gonna load it. Will it ever be possible to kill newbie yard guards at the gate? Yes. One of the things that we'll be working on, Keith, is setting up the population of the city in a way where it's very, very playable. Because not only will you be able to do things like attack guards at the gates, you know, there should basically, the city should feel like it's campable, right? You'll be able to discover different camps in the city. There'll be more than sort of just the incidental, it just so happens that you can farm a guard or an NPC here or there. And so we already started a little bit of that with putting this stuff in for players like the ruffians, but each of these areas should get set up in a way where there's more content for you to come in. Flea said, I always wonder if this was legit or not when Pop came out. You're pretty sure you were one of the first guilds to attempt Fena, and GM arrived at the raid and said we were on the big screen in the conference room. Was that something that happened, or did someone just want to make you nervous? I can't remember firsthand. If it happened, I would say that something like that wouldn't be shocking. We were often watching different guilds make first attempts at stuff. All right, let's try this again. If I have something roll up on me, I am definitely going to get hosed, so let me... Oh, that was a nice hit. They were often playing in the building as well. At times. At times, when we weren't too busy. And then often, like, running our characters to a raid, logging out, driving home, and logging back in. Nathan Napalm channel is currently live streaming the Vanguard server on YouTube for anyone that's also interested in that kind of old school MMO. Oh, rad. Been meaning... We still need to get in and play with, Nice. Okay. Not what I wanted, but fine. We still need to get in it and play with Zukin. Rad deserves a comeback. I've always used Rad. It's never not been around. All right, while I'm sitting here, inventory management. Got that thing to sell. Not sure why that's not in there. Cool. Cloth scraps I can put in the other pouch. Hey, Zoidberg. My frame rate's not really great at the moment. We'll have to look into why that is. All right. So the crazy thing is, I actually want to talk to the guys about making this experience, incidentally, a little bit harder. In that, Ollie just changed the way that resists work. I don't need that. I do need this. And in anticipation for this being multiplayer, watch out for that jackal. I'd like to get some abilities even on these newbie mobs. So that it pays to use things like resists at the first level. Bug report entry. Bag and spec panel not sizing properly depending on number of slots. Oh, good point. I wonder, I bet Nick already has that bug in our other DB. But that's a good call. So like basically needing to get a little bit of a fire resist when dealing with these guys, poison resist, or cure when dealing with snakes. Alright, I'm not rolling the dice quite. Oh, I don't have my freaking auto attack on. Now I'm doing better, but it may be too late. I may have screwed this pull. Anyway, little things like that. No auto attack or pants. Well, I've only got the icon for no auto attack. The emote. All right. Come on. I was hoping that would not happen that way. But at least it's not a far run. Pani said, a living robot, you should add a broads color to those white buttons. Which ones? These? This is a work in progress. One thing that we're talking about is giving you a lot of different sort of background and maybe color options and stuff to customize the UI pretty easily on your own without having to do any sort of like external UI shit. Bottom right ones here. Oh, this is totally placeholder. This is the first thing that's starting to come online as looking somewhat like our UI design. Thank you. Next time, I looted the last item and it started raining. It freaked me out a little bit. What are you guys using for networking? Mirror? LightNet lib and I don't know, Keith, can you jump in? We started with ML API and then switched to lightnet lib, I believe, but I'm not really the tech guy. Batgasm, thank you for the bat raid. Welcome all of y'all. I just died. I just recovered my items, though I'm still in my little placeholder underwear. Let me remem strike. That'll pause the game for whatever reason today. The Kuno said, cool, do you know how many players it can handle? You'd have to ask Ali, but I mean, he's pretty optimistic. That in theory, I think he's run tests, so tens of thousands. I don't know. Backgasm, thank you again for the raid, and thank you for telling people about M&M. And those of you that are not familiar with M&M, here's our websites. But if you've been telling them, then they probably have the entire spiel I'm about to run down, so it may be a bit redundant. But anyway, here's our Discord. Akuno, if you're really interested in the details there, pop into our Discord. And Ali or one of the other folks on the tech side should be able to give you a better answer than I can give you. And he can like run you through what he's done to sort of test that and what scale he thinks we can handle and all of that. So, class art looks cool too. Goblin or a placeholder? Goblin. Stuff's roughed in. I believe this was roughed in by Goblin if I looked at the art style. It'll be 3D and animated later. You know the drill. But Goblin and John, I believe, got this first bit of it in. And so the customization and stuff that we show in the update, last month? Will slowly come online. But we just wanted to start getting the look down, and as soon as we started implementing it, it helped us kind of think of some things that were off spatially, etc., etc. There's the question of, do we actually want the real-time paper doll showing items, or do we just want to leave it so that when you're here, you can just look at yourself here? Stuff like that. Keith said Ali is better at answering the networking thing, but yeah, lightnet lib with a custom layer on top. It's very lightweight. Yeah. Pani asked, when did the project start? It's funny you asked that. So the project started, we count the official start because the history of the project is essentially, I was streaming a lot of EverQuest stuff. I started with the TLP in 2020, Eridune, and just came back because I used to work on EQ back in the day. And so I had some friends, former colleagues come in and do interviews. I think there's like 60 hours worth of interviews if you go to that YouTube channel, Loving Robot. And we were just talking about EverQuest a ton, and Dayak and UO and Ashron's Call and all the old games. And so more and more it became like this discussion of, why do we feel that those games felt different back then? And do we think we can make a modern MMO, like an indie MMO that's got the same feel, given new tools and all that stuff? And then, and so we just started kind of talking more and more, chat about making a game. And the last 2 or 3 companies I've worked at, last 2 or 3 MMO companies I've worked at really were independent sort of style, like indie style game companies in a sense, and they've all done really well financially, but they're very small and you've never heard of them. So more and more we just started talking about it. So we count September of 2020 as like the inception point. That's really, I've got some videos and stuff where it's just like it's essentially just me and Blender starting to cobble together a little sandbox for us to play in. Ali had made a little dungeon in Unity. He started working on the tech stuff. Nick was working on design stuff, and yeah, it was like four of us plus minus, 4 or 5 of us plus minus 1 for the first year. September of 2021. If you look on our website, if you look at the update for September 1st, 2021, we put out like a ad for artists and programmers. We wanted one artist, one programmer to expand the team. And we happened to get a lot of people that were interested. We wound up picking 2 of each. And that's when Gary and John and Zukin and Pattis. So Connor and Harrison joined the team. So we basically doubled our team size. Right around then, we also got Goblin on the team. Yeah, and so this last year, basically, we've added the bulk of our team. And went from everything being like a little capsule creature, like this Shira over here, which is about to be replaced. But everything kind of looked like these and was in placeholder art. And it has all come online this year, basically. So 2 years sounds like a lot of time. I know if you're just starting from like day 0 and you're like, you've got 3 years to make a game. But to be honest with you, building teams takes time, especially when like everybody's volunteering their time. You know, we're not getting paid. We're bootstrapping it at the moment. We're not asking for funding. We just want to work on the proof of concept. And so to be able to assemble a really, really quality team that gels well, like behind the scenes, folks are really awesome. And so to be able to assemble a team like that and make the progress we have this year, to me, is fantastic. So, love the RuneScape music. Thanks. We've got music in as well. It's badass. It's just, it only looped once. Oh, man. Oh, geez. I need to pay attention. I'm getting... That was not an ideal scenario. So anyway... Pani, thank you for the follow. Oh, God. Damn. That was intense. So, yeah. And as Keith said, new animations are already looking great too, which is nice for Zukin as he gets to focus on modeling texture more. Yeah, so we've got... In the last month... No, not in the last month. What, 2 months? I'd say last 2 months, 2.5 months. Keith, when did you get on the team? So Keith came aboard, so we've got even more assistance on the programming side. That's been fantastic. We've got like 1.5 additional animators helping at the moment. And that's come on board in the last month. And so Urkin staff's been cranking on animations. It's great. So that's all going to start coming online. We added Robert this year, who's done all the music. And speaking of which, as much as I love this music, what I'm going to do is I want to switch over real quick. So those of you that are new can actually get a taste of our music in the background. And playlists, and I'll get our music going. And this will be all of our music. You're just starting as a software engineer, so who knows? Maybe I'll be able to volunteer sometime. Yeah. I mean, our plan is to be around for quite a while. And maybe even the first of many niche games. Batgasm asks, do you think it'll have its own launcher or on Steam? We've integrated Sola already. So we've got a launcher. Let me see if I can find a... screenshot. That way I don't have to actually just run the launcher. Here, I'll show you via... See if this will work. Actually, I won't show you that because it may have info on it that we don't want you to see it. If I go to updates, so this is our website. If you haven't been there before, definitely check it out. We've got an FAQ, and our monthly updates tend to be pretty beefy. So there's a lot of concept art that you wouldn't ordinarily see, and you'll see a lot of systems in action, new art, etc. So it's worthwhile. Let's see. I could have sworn. Where do we mention integration of solo? Still looking. Is it really that far back? Interesting. Yeah, if you haven't gone through these updates, it's worthwhile. There's a lot to look at. Yeah, okay, so here. This is basically what the early, I think we've updated the aesthetic and stuff on it, but the early launcher looks like. So, and it's all through Sola. XSOLLA is the company. So, I mean, it works and stuff. We just, I'm almost always playing in the editor. Watch out for a jackal. Jackal pup. Man, there's a lot of stuff out here that wants to kill me. Cindercroft, thank you for the gift sub. Congrats, Mirix. Trollman's just hanging out here. You okay, buddy? I tell you what, Pani, if you can't find a day job that is your true passion from the onset, if you can at least figure out what you think your passion is, it makes it a lot easier to work towards that and just actively sort of build up the skills that are more specific to your passion. But I'm a big believer that once you've got a good idea of what it is you want to do, then it's just a matter of like having a plan and working towards it. It has always worked out for me. Cindercroft said, I work in employee relations, HR, so if you need volunteers to handle the misconduct of your staff, let you know. I think of the entire staff, the majority of the misconduct probably comes from me, so I don't know that I want to get HR involved. Ah, okay, Penny. Your passion is making a livable income? Right on. I hear that, especially in these days. It's getting weird out there. All right. Down for a minute. Okay. Oh my gosh. Is this zone line? This zone line's not really a zone line up here, is it? I forget if it's working. Okay. I mean, I may have to cheese it to get back, but it should work. No. Why did it pause me? Unpause. And now I gotta let me see if it works back, even though it's in a weird spot. We still gotta fix this. I like zone lines more than full open worlds. So do I, Turnip. I mean, I like full open worlds for games that are designed for full open worlds. Nice. But I like zone lines for the reason that we just showed. What do you guys use for version control? I recently migrated a number of my various repos, local on GitHub, to a private Gidia server. Been liking it so far? So far, just GitHub. I mean, in theory, I could just go buy this fire beetle eye somewhere, which should be allowed. There's nothing in the quest that requires me to get it from a drop, but it does help us get a feel for mob availability. Dude, that Ashira was sneaking around back there. Yeah, aggro is just better with zone lines than leashing. I do too. It leads to a lot of interesting moments. No dice. We're popping the zone really quick to get that guard unstuck. And also hopefully spawn a few more fire beetles. Have I leveled yet? Yeah, I leveled to level 2 pretty early. A lot of that was just driven by the experience from the quest, though. I can definitely say if I was duoing, I think I'd be flying through this, right? Like if I had just that one more body helping me out, let alone if I was doing duoing with a healer. Sometimes it's hard to factor in the future state. Tens of players in the zone, evolving economy, etc. Keith said. like how different an empty zone plays versus one that has many players camping everything. Even now the issue are running around. I bet they'll be cleaned up pretty quickly by higher level players. Yeah, and not even that much higher, right? So I'm level 2 now. If there were a few level 3s working together, or level 4 running around, there's already some quests for Ashira parts. So I could see that not being a problem. If anything, it may be the opposite. People hoping that there are more Ashira around. But that's something we just got to play with and tweak. I don't know there's any like silver bullet formula that you can do beyond just kind of look at the behavior. Does experience work with more than one person? Is there any bonus for doing other than faster? Whoops, I'm not paying attention to my strikes. Other than killing faster. Could have sworn we implemented a mild experience bonus for additional group members. I can look in a second. Okay, cool. Still nothing. Is anything passing here? Group. This may be old, so I could be wrong on this. Could have sworn that Nick was talking about the group bonus 4% per. Is that relative per player? Per group member? Going? I'd have to dig and confirm. I don't want to give you wrong info. And I remember it being discussed at the time and just going, okay, all of that sounds wonderful. And then just kind of went in the memory hole. All these eyeless fire beetles running around. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where if it was a simulation, then it would make things kind of weird, right? So it's one of those areas where we accept a bit of like gaminess. The gotcha animal parts. Now that said, we've talked about also taking a couple different approaches for additional trade skills like skinning and butchering and things like that. We've got to revisit and see how exactly we want to approach it. So right now, the default approach is what you're seeing, and then we may modify that later. But it's good to at least get this in so we can start getting some content and gameplay going. How fast should level advancement be? What is a good played equals level increased rhythm? Too fast and players don't feel challenged. Too slow and players are irritated. I mean, I don't know that there's a perfect mathematical formula. We've run numbers, and are using those as like our current baseline. But we've really got to play and kind of see how does that actually feel, and what's the general response to it. So I'm gonna give you a bit of a non-answer there, because honestly, like sitting down and walking through sort of the mathematical progression and then the logic behind it would take pretty much all my concentration, and it'd be cool to have more than just me talking about it. But I mean, I can talk about intent, which is, I mean, the intent should be the intent is, for the time being at least, that the advancement both feels like something that's occurring, right? Like you can see that you're advancing, but isn't something that you just kind of want to rush through, where it's like in a session it's like ding, ding, ding. Why are you advancing in the first place? You should be advancing to unlock new abilities, right? New spells, to increase certain skills that impact essentially your relationship in combat to the mobs. And so the feel that we're shooting for is something where instead of the first like 5 or first 8 levels being kind of throwaway, and then you start to actually feel the real game. Oh shit, now I actually care about equipment. Now I care about the spells that I have and like what I've got loaded out, etc. I really want the first 5 levels of the game to feel like those higher levels, or not higher levels, but that feel you hit when it's like the game starts to feel like the game around a level 8 or 15 or whatever in some other games. Like, let's just have that from the beginning. And so that's why we've refactored things like the resists to make it so that we can actually do things with resists at the early levels. That's why we got a dungeon over here that you can go into at level 1, level 2. We want you to be in the levels long enough for you to actually get some meaningful use out of the spells that you get at the early levels, the equipment that you get at the early levels, the mobs that are available, and other content that's available at the early levels. So yeah. Cindercroft asks, so nice, so we can swarm kite at level 1? I don't know. We'll have to look at like the actual abilities themselves. I would say that if you're familiar with swarm kiting, then it's probably not beyond the realm of reason that you're going to have certain abilities available to you that will allow you to at least start to leverage that knowledge earlier rather than much later. So I think I was just watching, so I don't think, I mean, I know for sure. Josh Hayes has a new video that he just posted that's basically getting into group content and raid content being available at the earliest levels, so that you're not just playing one game for a certain period of time and then switching to the end game, which then has very different gameplay. And I mean, I think I don't necessarily agree with everything that's kind of said or sort of the analysis in the video, but I do definitely agree with that aspect of it. The game should be the game from the beginning. Kimmery, you've already seen it? Cool. Don't necessarily need levels. For example, at max level, even getting one piece of epic gear is nice. Yeah, so there should... you guys let me know next time I don't have auto attack on. Or a target. How about that? So... yeah, I mean, there are a number of things that... there are a number of beats that can happen that are indicative of progression that aren't just your level. That can happen in these lower levels that still make you feel like you're having a meaningful gameplay experience, right? I mean, one of the interesting things is if you're blasting through levels at the low end, you're also probably blasting through level appropriate content, and a lot of that level appropriate content in theory is doing things like familiarizing you with the world, familiarizing you with different, key NPCs or individuals or mobs and their background, right? Like there is Shira out here at level 2. There's Jackals out here. I think the lowest, well, maybe, what is the lowest level of Shira? 3? 2? Anyways, let's see. That Ashira is level 4. Okay. I think the other one's the scouts too. Anyway, But there's all this cool shit that you can be doing and experiencing and basically enjoying about the game, and at those lower levels. And those things, if you're taking advantage of them, and ideally we designed a game in a way where it feels worthwhile to take advantage of them, those are meaningful progression beats in a sense too. Like every new sort of quest that you discover, especially ones that are potentially repeatable, that's a beat. Every time you discover that there's a merchant that's got some interesting shit that maybe you can't afford now but can come back to, that's a beat. One of the reasons why we're being a little more hardline on things like inventory, and you know how we're going to be pricing bags and pouches and backpacks and things like that, is because the more we put in constraints, the more the mechanisms by which we then allow you to breach those constraints or mitigate those constraints feel meaningful. And so that moment of like, you know, and I think this is a lot of what people have been saying is, hey, I really like the dark. Do people really like the dark because they want to get ambushed and, you know, killed and then can't find their corpse and all that other shit? Well, some people probably do. But a lot of other people, I think, like it because it was a constraint that then when you get a torch or a light source or whatever, it's like, oh wow, okay, now I feel like I've progressed a bit. What, people are saying that? What, that they like the dark? A ton of you weirdos coming here and say it. Whole chat full of weirdos that like the dark. Nicodemus, thank you for your generosity. Andric, enjoy your gift sub. These sons of guns do need more eyes, though. So... Group said, I love the idea of spending a lot of time in the lower levels exploring. I like that slow burn, not max level in 2 weeks and just grinding the in-game for you. Yeah. Nicodemus, enjoy work. You have a great day as well. Sorry if I missed any of your questions. Been a little bit all over the place. I don't have this one. I thought for sure I did. I do not. Oh man, scouts on me as well. No, okay. I think the issue is if you make it completely black, it's disorienting, but even a bit of ambient light and people will just turn up their monitor brightness. I mean, we'll see. And keep in mind, each zone will be a little different. And with the different moon cycles and stuff like that, and the way that the day-night cycle moves the moons through the sky, we have different levels of brightness and stuff outside. Grumpy said, I remember my favorite thing about EQ 99 was the large scale of adventure as a very weak player, being trapped at guard towers in West Corona because it was night and I was unprepared and had no map. Yeah, and I can't remember, were there werewolves in West Corona as well? Little things like that where you're just scared shitless. It definitely makes an impact. Would have been cool if structures like the farm buildings or little inns and stuff were actually safe. mobs couldn't just aggro you through the walls. Didn't know they existed in 99. You're level 7 paladin, alone and afraid. And this dude named Epic took me back to Kanos. Yeah, it sounds like you you got in a little over your head. Ethan said, I think it's the lighting's more about aesthetics and gameplay is what you mean. Aesthetics definitely an important factor. Gameplay, I don't know. I think it is about gameplay for a lot of folks. And yeah, there are different things like and Peach is saying there are different things that we could potentially play with if we want to continue to tweak the gameplay aspect of it. And then we'll have things naturally, like we've already got it in here, day-night cycle, different mobs spawn depending on whether or not it's day or night. And they behave slightly differently. So like the nighttime skeletons, you'll see them, they have glowing eyes, they're aggro. They're also social. They move a bit faster, it's sort of their base movement. So our patrolman needs to be fixed. And then daytime skeletons are the ones you see just sort of skulking around, walking slowly. Their lights aren't glowing, they're not social. But we've got to fix a bug where when we switch like day and night, it's not depopping stuff. So then the system will truly start to work. And then we'll be able to leverage things like when the sandstorm hits, we can spawn sandstorm specific mobs as well. Things like that. Let's see, one second. Yeah, the whole players are too savvy now, so a lot of that stuff's not going to be as scary. I mean that's true to a certain degree, probably a significant degree, but we'll see. I mean, it's one of those things where you can't necessarily promise that you're going to have the experience that you had back in the day, but we can at least make the attempt to leverage some of the elements that we feel made that experience what it was, and then just kind of see how it goes. Who knows? I think a lot of people, what will wind up happening is you're never going to have the 1999 experience again. You're just not. That was 1999. But if we can provide you with a reasonable experience, you know, in the 2020s, then if it feels better than other experiences you've had since then, in that it does cause you to harken back to a fair amount of the stuff that made 1999 so special, then we've won. Yeah, so that's the other thing. There's a surprising number of people that are discovering like P99 and EQ and that old style for the first time, and they're younger folks. So that'll be interesting. A lot of them will also be more sophisticated, but yeah. Demetrium says Classic EQ has an amazing lighting engine that I feel gets ruined, washed out when too many players have light sources. On P99 yesterday, had a City of Mist group. Somehow nobody had a light source and everything looked amazing. Any thoughts on how to design around this to keep lighting important, atmospheric? So the first thing we're going to do is just really pay attention to the availability of light sources. So even like this torch, we've got the ability in now. I need to make a note to like actually have it set the torch up to work this way. But like this torch should burn out. And playing around with the progression of light. The other thing too, though, is I think some of it's going to be a matter of building our world with textures and base lighting that works well with other lights. So let me see. Actually, I don't know that I want to dig through a bunch of spells and stuff here, but if you look at some of the older VODs that we have, where we're in Wormsbane, the dungeon over here, and you see us casting different spells. We're really going for some like interesting lighting on the spells. The spells actually have light, the ability to emit light, and keeping our light sources pretty chill, not overblown initially. Makes it so like the different lights playing with the textures actually adds to the atmosphere instead of just blowing it, if that makes sense. So, but you'd have to, oops, let me go back to this playlist. And can I loop that? It's actually very hard to tell if it's looped. Anyway, yeah, so if you go back to some of those old VODs, you'll see us playing in a dungeon, and I don't know, I think it's pretty rad to see the different spells emitting light. So Dimitri said, awesome to hear you guys are thinking about lighting. I feel like one thing about UQ that gets overlooked way too often. No, it's pretty massive. Lighting, so I mean, we're going for, if you look at like our shape language in geo style, we're going for a lot simpler geo, but we want to put really nice quality textures on that give you that sense of being in like an old fantasy painting. And then lighting does so much of the lifting for us. So even like our day-night cycle, when you look at the, one of the first things that went in was, despite our very simple kind of geo, in our textures, we're really leaning heavily into the lighting in the engine. Right, and so we've already got like the god rays and, fog in the distance, and that's why we were leaning into the darkness in the dungeon and putting the additional light on spells and all of that, just because when we look at different paintings and fantasy scenes and stuff, we can see even there where they're simulating the lighting and how much it can add. So Finadorm said, I know in EQ there are guards that attack certain races, so they added good evil cities. Is that something that you'll apply to this game? Yeah. There'll definitely be different cities that work better with different factions. For the proof of concept, we're starting with Night Harbor, which is intentionally designed to be a bit more lenient on that front at first. And as the world expands, then we'll probably be tweaking a lot of that. But factions are very important to us. And the ability for players to also maybe put in the work and... Oh, there's one. Put in the work and grind out to be able to work with factions that maybe they weren't originally... that weren't originally available to them. Is definitely another big part of it. So we'll be using that both in sort of like the standard factions that you expect, and then the way that we approach religions will work a lot like faction system as well. Ah. Another close one. I mean, I am in my underwear. All right. Fire beetle eye. Good. So that's item 2. Let me look at the list again. I forget what he wanted. Oh, that's the parchment. Snake fang. Skeleton jawbone. Fire beetle's eye. Oh, that's why I was killing skeletons. I should probably keep killing skeletons then. I got the charcoal and the parchment, so I guess we could go do the rubbing to get the inscription. So let me heal a little bit and then we'll run out there. I don't think we have bandages in yet. And definitely need to get those going. Benidorm, did that answer your question? Alright, so I'm going to sneak over here. May not be the smartest move. But I know where I'm heading in these ruins, so I'm cheating a little bit. But I'll go ahead and sneak over here. Worst case, I think I can I'll just zone into the dungeon. They get aggro. And so the NPC, Elrond, asked me to come out here and basically use a piece of charcoal and a parchment to rub an inscription. So we've got a system that we need to play with a little bit, work on a little bit. You can see here the button stays grayed out, so that's a bug. We got to fix it. But if I do the slash command look, it'll actually fix the bug with the button. But anyways, so we've got a system that allows us to basically have us play with the environment the same way we would like an NPC. And so I just threw this in here real quick, but essentially you come in here and in theory we could have like a little stone here that makes it even more obvious, but this allows us to, just based on a volume, make it so that you can interact with all sorts of stuff, right? It could be like a secret panel, it could be a shiny object sticking out of the sand. In this case, we're pretending that there is there's a stone with an inscription on it here. So you'll see right here when I hit look, it says, you notice an inscribed stone at the center of these ruins. And so we have the ability at the moment, and I think we'll either, I need to sit down and like write this up today, but currently have an inspect, and it, you know, gives us essentially like a parameter, inspect what, and I think we're going to switch that to be a more general use, because right now I've just kind of got it rigged in a database to go inspect stone. Tell me my inventory is full, so let me destroy. And in this case, in theory, it should consume these 2 items and make the new one. So that'll be another thing that I've got to look at writing up. hopefully I don't. Because see here, I've still got the charcoal. In theory, it should consume the parchment and then give me this new, essentially, frottage of inscriptions. So it's the rubbing that Elrond wants. And then I can, oops, I can click it to read it. It tells me I can't decipher the language, right? And so that I could just put in whatever I wanted in here. So I threw those in there. But when I did inspect using the inspect stone, is that on me? Okay, it's not. Cool. Essentially, I was just doing a quick shortcut to how it should eventually work, which is I should be able to say use parchment and charcoal on stone. And it's looking for those keywords and it's checking my inventory to see if I've actually got those items. And how the quest is, essentially how the interaction is set up. And then it provides me with the rubbing. So, and it's a system that we're hoping to get a decent amount of use on. What are you talking about? What's up, D-Loves Pudding? Are you feeling better? I saw the cancellation, the meeting cancellation. I was like, oh, I'm glad the meeting got canceled because I totally forgot all about it. Shit. So I hope you're feeling better though. Okay. Damn. Oh, Jackal. Oh, you're engineered in. Okay. My bad. Anyways, so Cindercroft, to your question, are the roads paths considered safe? Like, you don't have to worry about being attacked? No, not at the moment. And aside from there being guards, I mean, some zones we will probably be able to control that better than others. But like currently, that newbie road's not safe. But we do have a patrolman that does patrol it sometimes when he's not stuck. Oops. I don't know why this is happening today as well, but let's see. We'll live. Yeah, so anyway. The goal of those interactions, and the reason why we call them like mud objects, is just there's this idea of us being able to do a lot more with text-based interactions, and I find it a lot more appealing to have a system that allows us to do a lot of just varied, interesting interactions through text, right? In the old sort of Zork text-based adventure game approach, than have it just be like I cursor over interesting object, and it, you know, gives me a whatever sort of generic interact thing, and then I interact, but all that means is I hold a button and then shit happens, and maybe there's effects and animations and all this other stuff. Just seemed like it'd be a lot cooler to have it be something that's free form and text adventure sort of in style. And then we'll link that system into different skills, so that you'll, instead of just like manually clicking look everywhere, there'll be a lot of areas where, you know, just because you've got a certain survival skill, or, I mean, example I was thinking of earlier was, hell, maybe you've been training masonry, and because you've been training masonry, when you're walking, when you're walking down a hallway or something, you notice that there's a secret panel or interactive element that's there. So, make it varied. So the only item I'm missing right now is the jawbone. So I'm just gonna focus on skeletons and see if we're able to finish this quest this session. Which, let's be real, if I wasn't streaming and I was paying attention, then we probably would have had it wrapped up by now, I would think. Where are you, skeletons? Demetrium said passive perception stuff is cool because it's more like your character notices things instead of the player. Yeah, and it's, I mean, it makes it it makes it to where, you know, we're not just going everywhere and kind of looking, though I do like that manual ability being available for areas where you just kind of get that sense that there's probably something here. And I really do like the idea of tying it into just a bunch of varied sort of perception trigger types. One of the daytime skeletons. What's your take on stats like heroic stats on certain items that can breach a stat cap, or skill modifiers like crit, dodge, defense, etc. modifier? I don't know that. Well, man, he's got a lot of stuff on him, and he's got the jawbone straight out of the gate. All right, we're done here. Let me switch this up. Personally, I don't know that I've got a strong stance. As long as we've factored it into like the headroom on the various stats, like as long as we've accounted for it, I think the more the merrier. There is a well nearby. So I didn't put this in. I'm assuming Nick put this in, but I just used look. Inspect. Well, I see nothing out of the ordinary. Okay. Hey, when people are initially exploring the world, I'm hoping they have a lot of fun with these interactions. And there are some examples I want to play around with, like you can buy a rope and grappling hook, and so imagine you're trying to find a way to sneak into a place, and you hit look, and then it tells you, it seems like a good place to set a grappling hook, and then you use it, and then it just takes you up there, right? So that we don't have to like overinvest in, or maybe it makes it climbable, right? So that it doesn't make it, right? It basically makes it similar to our current ladders and stuff. So we'll be playing with that stuff as well. It's cool because behind the scenes, it's relatively simple in terms of its implementation, and very flexible, so we can get pretty creative with it. And the, you know, the foundational elements are already in there. We've already done it. You know what I mean? Like we just did one. I think I have everything, so I can just go back to Elrond. Flea, does that answer your question? Essentially, I like having a lot of interesting effects on items. I like the more stats and resists and other shit, the better, just because it gives you stuff to acquire and modify and feel like you're advancing your character. But we just need to make sure that all of that is accounted for in the totality of our progression headroom, right? So that we know all of the various vectors that these stats are being modified from, and we've accounted for it, and we've got enough headroom that we're not like, you know, a year after release or 2 years after release, capped out and having to either reconfigure all of the itemization because we've blown through our headroom, or we've got to redo our systems or whatever. And that kind of ties into D Loves Pudding's question, which was, what are your thoughts on levitation's use in games? So, and EQ mobs could still hit you if they could path to your XYZ coordinates, regardless of how high your Z axis was. Mainly, that wasn't intentional. I think that was just an issue with how Z axis worked. That's why there are so many random Z axis exploits and why we couldn't build towers and shit early on. And, you know, so it's like tower, frozen shadow is not truly a tower. That was a discussion we had all the time with the environment folks. So it's just kind of a bug. You know, it was the same bug that facilitated their early, was it conquests, early attempts on the warders, right? Because summoning you just summoned you, it didn't summon you on the Z-axis as well, and so that wasn't it. They were having their clerics basically just get summoned to the same spot under the bridge where they're still out of LOS. Not to bring that topic up, I don't care. I thought it was very interesting to watch. But however, if your perched upward mobs could not reach your XY, they would try to path you endlessly, which I believe eventually EQ made them warp to you. We've had, I don't know if it got broken in recent, we've been doing a lot of like ollies on like the 4th pathing revision. But we've had them warp to you already. And I think warping as an initial solution is fine. You know, but between warping and some maybe some ability use, I think we'll be good. But warping is definitely helpful. In DC Universe Online, because we had all the weird movement modes where you could fly and you could run up the side of buildings and all that other stuff, we made it so that a lot of the NPCs, almost like everything, had a downing ability. So they could hit you and you'd just fall off the wall or fall out of the air or whatever. And a lot of ranged abilities on NPCs and stuff as well. We'll just play with that one, but I think for sort of the initial like exploit of certain areas or whatever, we'll start with warping to you. I thought your question was going to go in a different direction with levitation, and I think I mentioned this a couple streams ago, but levitation and like all other abilities similar to the response to Flea's question, that my current belief, and it may change as we go, but my current belief is the more that we can stretch out the power and utility of those abilities, the better off we're going to be. And so having your initial levitation be more like a 1 second or 2 second safe fall, and then have it give you slightly more like parabolic arc or whatever on its decay, like give you more and more range over time, before it's just like, hey, you've got levitate and you can basically just go wherever the hell you want as long as you go up high enough, and then you can travel to wherever for the whatever 2 minutes, 4 minutes or whatever. It seems like I don't want to say it's broken, because once you're that badass, it's wonderful, right? Like, hey, I've conjured a floating disc and I'm able to, get over to this other place and, all this other cool shit. I think that's great eventually. But similar to the discussion we had earlier in the stream with regards to blowing through early levels too quickly, getting those abilities too quickly, I think is just a wasted opportunity for us to make it really feel special. And then when you do see, like somebody that's just got that constant lev or the ultra fast speed or whatever, then they're a badass. They're very far along in the progression, and they've been able to come back and maybe re-explore dungeons or zones in a different way. Chris Perkins talks about this a fair bit, I think, on the various Pantheon streams and stuff, about like that sort of Metroidvania ability to come retraverse and re-explore areas when you've got new abilities that allow you to actually get up there. And I know they're doing that with climbing and other abilities and stuff. And I think that's the right approach. And so the more that we stretch it out, the better, just because it gives you something to aspire to. It stretches out the used to make a really bad analogy in the EQ days, but I was a lot more crass and younger. it stretches out the cocoa a little bit, right? It's the baby powder that gets you a little bit more value out of your product. So, yeah, don't give up the, the whole horse straight out the gate. Let's see. All right, let's see if this works. I should have some items for him. I think I just heard an HR violation. That is why we have refused your offer of HR help. Thank you very much. This is a game for old people. If you can't handle the reference... What? He doesn't want those items. What the hell? What do you mean he doesn't want those items? Snake Fang. Yes. Inscription. Yes. Fire Beetle Eye. Yes. Skeleton Jawbone. Yes. He doesn't want the items? Oh, wait. We fixed the one bug, but I don't think we fixed this bug. Oh. Let me reread that. What was happening when we encountered this? I was scribing, or I was miming abilities. Miming abilities on a new fighter. This is not a classic MMO experience, Shawn. Classic MMOs would just eat your items and call it a day. I know. We were talking about that earlier, D. We're like, maybe we should make it like an MMO TLP type experience, where the first year it just eats your items, and then we fix it later. Fix it. We just start with all sorts of broken shit and quality of life missing that we just add in later. Now let me go back to our bug discussion. Is that Billy Corgan? Yes. What's up, Rex? Looting other people's bodies. Consent me, bro. Let me see. I'm gonna ping Gary and ask him this. Unless you're watching, Gary, it'd be a lot easier if I could just ask you here. You're not in here, are you, Gary? What's up, Isan? You are here. Okay. Hey, I was about to type some stuff and be totally distracted from chat, but now we can interact. Having fun today, or lots of fun, Brex asks. I was having a lot of fun, and then this happened. So Gary, the issue with turn-ins is like the initial turn-in is fixed in terms of it telling me that there's not enough inventory space and eating my item. But multi-item turn-ins, let me check the DB real quick and see. I might have put in like a little hack and forgotten to take it out. But it looks like multi-item turn-ins still aren't working. Let me see. BC quest. Elrond. Oh. Nope. It looks like you probably... No, you probably did fix it. This looks like user error. It looks like... let me fix this real quick and see. Item... Beetle... Yeah, it looks like I did some hacky shit to try to circumvent the problem yesterday and didn't take it out. So let me fix it on my end and repop real quick and see if it's fixed. Should only take a second. 1 second. All right, so the frottage is there. Elrens, Skull Jaw is now there. And the last item, Snake Fang is now there. Double check these. Cool, they should be good. Update this. Close this. And we'll repop the zone really quick. Well, that was a lot easier having you in chat. Let's see if it works. And if it doesn't work now, then I think it's probably still user error, but I can deal with it after the stream. I'll quadruple check. Still doesn't want the items. All right. So I'll look at it after the stream. Make sure I'll triple check. Make sure it's not a data issue. And then I'll cheat real quick. And what I'll do is repop the zone again. And cool. Okay. So at least I can get past this. What's up, Justin Beard? As a player who does not have access to your DB, this is probably the part of my play where I've turned in every item combination in this PC and I've just completely shoving my keyboard into the pixels where he stands. Yeah, I could definitely see this being frustrating. Whatever. All right. Okay. Let's delete this then and try again. Cool. Will we ever need to kill NPC merchants or quest NPCs in MM like we had to in EQ? Yeah, probably. That dude went a bit overboard on sunscreen. That's latex, I'll have you know. Now I've got a badass new shirt and I'm still not wearing pants. I think we'll probably wind up talking a bit about pants acquisition and time to pants acquisition. Because this isn't normal. I've even got pouches on my belt. No pants. At this point, I feel like I'm making a statement. Your 6-year-old was rocking that look last night? Okay, well then. See? Maybe there isn't anything wrong with this. It's hot out here. another kid owner. Irie Jaw said, like my kid, he's like Lincoln Loud, hanging about reading comics in his undies. Oh man. Eminem, more like BDS Eminem. So, you guys have heard we've talked about having the guards actually tell you to put some clothes on. And if you persist in your nakedness, then they attack you. Then you respawn in a wearing a shroud. So you'll always have at least your shroud on. You've always operated under the assumption that pants were optional. You're just looking for like a high stat thong. Class starter quest turn in text. Here, take these. It's breezy out there. Hands player, tattered cloth pants. You get in within initial like perception range of the guards, and they're like, point. Hey you, no pants. I've told you once. I've told you twice. No pants, no tan, no service. Well, but I'm plenty tan. Even the Terminator wore pants eventually. I just saw a video on Instagram this morning of some guy got in a gnarly like car wreck with his truck. Got out of his truck. In, I think, maybe in his underwear, but no, I think maybe he was already naked by then. Just naked and walking down the street like the Terminator. He's just like, and I'll be honest, the guy's in great shape. Buff dude. I don't know if that influenced his desire to wear pants or not, but... So, yeah, everybody just cited that as him being the Terminator. Alright. So I've completed this quest at level 2. In theory, you know, that's give or take. And then my next target is to fill this pack with Ashira tails, which they're a lot harder. So I will not be able to do this one by myself today at this point. Yes, but in the other town across the desert demands you not wear pants. That could be a thing. You roll up on this like small outpost and they're like, you disrobe. You run up to the guards, monsters chewing on you. They're like, sorry, if you're gonna come at us wearing all those pants and stuff, we can't help you. But yeah, I was thinking about that. So I've got this snazzy Steel Talon trainee tunic. Which I should modify the classes so that it is actually appropriate. Remind me to do that. A worn light blue tunic with faded steel talons heraldry. Yes. It's pretty heavy though. Why is it so heavy? Anyways, we'll need to modify this item. And I've got a breastplate that you get at the end of this quest series as a fighter. But then and I realized when I was doing it, it's like, all right, so I'm running around in like this nice blue tunic or this kind of nice blue breastplate and no pants. No pants, no shoes, not even flip-flops. So. Which got me thinking a lot about armor class and how far I should reasonably be able to go at the moment. without getting at least a little bit in every slot. So can you petition to have us add a fisherman's sweater? Yes. You can strongly encourage us to add a fisherman's sweater, Justin. Always thought the leg slot was overrated anyway. All right, so I was 8 minutes late, so the stream will go on for at least another 9 minutes. In all my naked pantsless glory. A wagon driver that will only talk to you if you're naked. Hidden quest. 79 people will know. I'm not sure that I'd want to get in that wagon. I don't know what that's about, D. I typically, I don't have viewers turned on, so I never see it. So let me turn on. It says 80 viewers on my end. If there are 4.2k viewers on this channel, I would really be sad because it's only the same like 10 of you talking. You gotta refresh, D. Well, I mean, I do have this badass tunic. Maybe I can take one of them. Send screenshots for our investors. If it's that easy, we'll just Photoshop it. Yo, investors, we had like 10,000 people watching, dog. Money? It's clearly Photoshopped. It's not even Photoshopped, it's MS Painted. 10 million people watch my stream. Yeah. All of our metrics in the deck are just written in Crayola. Cindercroft, thank you for watching on 3 different devices. But if you're a true supporter of the stream, you would actually have 3 different accounts, and you'd be having a very detailed conversation with yourself right now. Also have a Melania NFT to say, dude. If you're looking for funding, if we're looking for funding, we better have an NFT. It's like what we should do is be like so we're very Web3 like in that you will have digital ownership of you'll have ownership of unique digital assets that you as a player will be able to sell for real world money. No, not really, but our game is very it's all running on the blockchain behind the scenes. You can hit the F11 key to generate a NFT image to trade on the internet. Web 4, it is true, it is Web 4. We have non-fungible trinkets at our merch store. All NFT transactions do sell for real world currency. It's just that all that currency goes into a centralized bank account payable to me. You're thinking ahead. I just whipped that scout's ass. Will Eminem have the concept of undercon mobs? Yes. I'm just going to say yes because unintentionally it's inevitable. It's inevitable that we have undercon mobs. Sooner rather than later, actually. Going to ask, are we going to be able to craft iced tea? I tried to break my iced coffee addiction. We'll put in some craftable iced tea just for you, Justin. Tangible fungal. Shit. Sorry, Kimmery. TFTs. We've got TFTs. Tangible fungal tokens. Fungal. Why does this just sound so dirty? There is a fungible tunic. I think there's a non-fungible tunic in game already. I'm not even joking. I don't want to, yeah, spoiler alert. But I'm pretty sure Nick's already put that in. You think you ate some fungal tokens at a dead show in '93? Well, the new thing is to microdose fungal tokens. That's where it's at. All the cool guys in the Bay Area are microdosing fungal tokens. It'd be pretty funny to kill fungi that drop those tokens for a quest to use at a fungi merchant somewhere. Chinny D, you realize I just write all this stuff down, right? I'm like, alright, I've got an idea for the content. Now hear me out, I just made it up. There are fungi. They drop tokens. Oh my gosh. And there's a merchant somewhere that wants them. What's the merchant's name? Chinny D. That doesn't sound like a fantasy name. Just go with it. Shawn, we're calling HR. There's a castle dungeon in EverQuest 2 with that casino. It's not very big, but it is like a casino. Well, it's definitely, that's a good way to steal all the money out of the economy. If we put a casino in, it's definitely going to cheat you. I'm just going to warn you up front. Don't tell the other players. You guys have privileged information. Non-fungible tunic should degenerate your health instead of regen. It makes it, Kronos, it just makes investors very interested in you. But not in a good way. You believe the goblins run it? That makes sense. That seems like something goblins would do. Freaking goblins. You've created the RP name of Chinsworth Dickinson that you've used? Well, that does sound very RP. Should just be some dudes playing dice in the alley. Zoidberg, what I may do is the ruffians that are currently in the alley that ambush you, there may be a way for you to faction up enough to be able to walk up on them. Come to find out they are playing dice, and you can play dice with them. D-Loves Pudding says, it has taken me an age, but the moment has finally arrived. I challenge you to a duel, Shawn. Choose either EQ or Eminem, but your death is certain, for I've spent literally over a year furiously waiting your end. / gauntlet. We may have to do it on P99 if you want to get it done sooner. Otherwise, then yeah. If you want to wait a little bit longer, we can duel in Eminem, and I will absolutely cheat. If your future investors require you to have an HR department, you can hire me. I promise I will never be at work. If our future investors require us to do anything, they're the wrong investors. Then we have chosen poorly. For EQ, it would be a cheap because you're stacked. Yeah. P99 green, I'm sure you... We should make level 1 characters for the duel. Just so you can't cheat. Like I will. If we do it here. Can you play dice and gamble away your pants? Of course you can. That's the only thing the ruffians want to gamble for in our game. Pants. Actually, I actually feel a little overpowered at the moment, to be honest. I'm pantsless level 2, but I mean, these guys are level 2, so... I guess it makes sense they're no longer as scary. What did I just hit him for? You're gonna have an entire quest line. We're at the end. We're like a pants faction grind. When you see people wearing pants in our game, you know they've invested a ton. They've really put in the work. When you win this duel, my prize shall be to require unfettered access to gambling across the lands of Eminem, where yes, you may gamble your literal pants away like the degenerate gambler you are. In Meridian 59, you had a guild called the Green Pants Kick-Ass Guild, where all members wore green pants to slaughter people. I'm gonna call bullshit if you don't have a screenshot. Oh, I seen a shear out there. The original name of this game was going to be Never Pants Online, but the team told me no. Cindercraft, I know. Wait until they look all cool and stuff. Pixar didn't happen. No, honest. Bro, I swear, bro. Bro. All right. So as soon as I'm done here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see why that quest didn't work. And then I will update you, Gary. Will there be a quest line that allows you to uncover a pants racket run by those ruffians cheating people out of their pants and then selling those pants back to them at higher prices via a shady merchant? Then we have the option to report them to the town guard or join the racket and get a percentage of the cut. I'm telling you guys, the content's just writing itself right now. Alright. The secondary pants market. The shifty gnome is in on it. Of course he is. Actually, he's taking all the human pants and then having them cut down into 2 or 3 pairs of gnome pants. No cape graphic. How are you expected to swish? No cape graphic yet. How about that? Belts were invented primarily to secure your pants from pants thieves. We need to add dynamic suspender technology to the game immediately. So you can suspend your disbelief. What about assless chaps? Are those an epic quest? Those are in the merch shop. Ashira tail. They do exist. I have an Ashira's tail. D-Love's Pudding, are you sure you weren't the one that was sick? Because you sound like you're on medication. And any opinion on guild emblems and colors for putting on cloaks, shields, and other stuff? We were talking about it. My personal opinion, I'll just say my personal opinion, because it's early and I don't want to say something lame and then have you guys blame the team. Personal opinion on that one is, yes, for their availability, but make them something that's actually, you know, you've really got to put some work in as a guild to be able to get it. Like, have that be... I think when we talked about this before, I think different folks had had ideas, so I don't want to steal anybody's idea and say it was mine, but we were talking about it, and I think ideas were sort of bandied about as well, of like having certain accomplishments that you do as a guild unlock options in that area as well. So it's not like every little guild that just sort of like, hey, will you join my guild real quick? You can quit afterwards. It's all good, you know, kind of thing. Timmy's Gang Squad or whatever, total of 2 people in the guild, have all this cool looking guild emblem shit, etc. Put in some work, Timmy. Get real friends, do real things. Oh my goodness. I don't know that you guys are ready for this. Oh, they actually don't have a graphic. We're safe. We're safe. I thought the pants had a graphic. Sorry, I hyped you up prematurely, Rev. Womp womp womp. You were in a guild in EQ during live that the initiation was to swim across volcano lava in lava storm. I'm getting more and more dubious of your guild stories, D Loves Pudding. I'm still dubious, buddy. Chinny D said in response to my previous thing, that could be interesting. That way, when you see an emblem guild, it means something like a faction, or you know that they've also maybe done something significant. As long as I'm not threatening our KOS, dubious is fine. Yeah. My dubiousness is real, though. Oh my gosh. This guy's just got all sorts of stuff. Way too many bone chips. The scissored. More pants. When are you going to show off a pet class? We've played pet classes. I don't know if, but wait, is the elemental model in? Matter of fact, even if it isn't, I'm not gonna show you one until we've got. I think there's a couple of things that we wanted to fix. But if you've been watching Zukin streams, then you had to have seen the elemental model. All right, where am I at in progression? About halfway through level 2. I've gotten one of the 6 Ashira tails that is needed. I do have a snazzy blue tunic on. I've been challenged to a duel to the death by D Loves Pudding. Overall, fair session. Need to fix that bug on the quest turn-ins. And yeah. So I think I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to wrap up here. So Jasmine's got a thing tonight. So I'll pop up here. I'll eat some dinner really quick, and then that'll let me just get back into the database and see if this is just user error or what. But yeah, like I said, I've got some more quests that are going to be going in. Those of you that weren't here at the beginning of the session, essentially, I've got this basically 2 quest series that then throws you off to some other just sort of more, not one-off, but sort of neutral, generic quests within Night Harbor. But I've got this 2 quest series that went in, and that's allowing us to find some stuff that we want to improve on a few of our systems and then fix a couple of bugs. I've done it for the fighter. Next up, we'll be throwing in Rangers and then Archer quests. Again, just newbie 2 quest series, mainly because they all go through, the 3 of them go through a primary faction of the Steel Talon guild here. And so we'll be playing with that. I passed over the outline and some dialogue to Hamad for him to give me some feedback on. The way that we did this first quest was I wrote up an outline, some initial dialogue. Hamad came in and basically wrote out new dialogue, and then we use that to compare notes. And I talked to him a bit about implementation in our systems, and some of the things that are a little bit of like gotchas and stuff to watch out for. Because Ham comes from a tabletop background. I come from a background of you guys finding all sorts of wonderful ways to exploit the shit out of quests. And also, I understand the constraints of our system, that we've sort of built into the system for the time being. So we use that to help us basically get on the same page with regards to terminology and approach, and that's been really cool. But that type of thing takes a little bit of time. The actual implementation on the quest series, including the NPCs and items and all of that stuff, it was just like an afternoon's worth of work. So I'm looking forward to seeing what his feedback is on the quests I've given him. If there's not like a complete rewrite or whatever on it, then I think that'll let us find a rhythm where I'll go blasting ahead on the starter quests so that we've got our base layer of content in for playtests in the future. We basically wanted to make sure that every class had something to come in and sort of pull them through and get them going, and then a decent number of little one-off quests and stuff like that in Night Harbor for any initial playtests. And then, let's see, why am I saying so much? Anyways, we'll have that going on this month. That'll be my focus this month, is basically just getting that first layer of content in. That naturally, every time we're adding stuff in, like with the Ranger quests, you'll probably see a couple new mobs appear that are quest specific, but not necessarily restricted to, the Ranger. It just happens to be want to add in, like if I add in a diseased rat or something like that, then everybody will benefit from it being there. It's just it'll be you'll start to see the natural evolution of content from the base layer that we have into additional mobs and rares and named and things like that are needed for quests. Probably not that many rares, since we're doing sort of like the first 5 levels worth of content for these. I think the one-off quests, you'll start to see more rares. We're also trying to incorporate more systems into gameplay that we've had, but we haven't really been playing with much, so that we can learn where we want to modify or improve those systems, whether or not there's anything broken with them at the moment and stuff like that. So like the Ranger quest, there'll be a ground spawn, and put that in, or it'll probably just be put in as like a ground spawn. And we in this quest that you saw earlier, we're using one of the interactive objects, the mud objects. There's some functionality that we want to add there. And then kind of see how those come online, how some of the one-off quests feel, and kind of see where we're at with things on the actual just sort of like content side by the end of the month. So that should be putting us into a nice spot going into October and Q4 of this year. Like I said earlier, we'll get a update newsletter out in the next week or so, probably. That'll be for August. September, we'll probably do 1 or 2 updates. We'll do like maybe a normal update, but then we'll also do a year's progress sort of comparison update, because I think it's easy for a lot of folks to forget that, I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. If you look at our updates, so monsters and memories updates, if you look at Eminem's update, and you go down to so September of 2021, so 1 year ago. See our capsule people looking for more. So essentially, 1st of September, we posted, we were looking for a 3D artist and gameplay programmer. And that's really when things kicked off. And we went from it being like 4 or 5 of us to getting a lot of people that were interested. And we wound up being fortunate enough to pick up Gary and John and Connor and Harrison, and shortly thereafter, Goblin, and and things really started just like moving fast. But that was a year ago. So basically, and it was interesting because we were like, hey, when we get the new folks on board, I wonder how long it's going to take them to ramp up. But folks hopped in and ramped up really quickly, and then from there, naturally, we've added, the rest of the folks onto the team. So all of that's happened in the course of just 1 year, and we went from basically being like this to, and all of the old placeholder stuff to like blasting through to where we're at today. So yeah, it's been a very eventful year. And essentially we're coming up on year 2 from like the first, like, hey, maybe we can make a game. With a lot of that really happening this year. And so it'd be nice to put something that's like a summary of that together for everybody, so folks can kind of see the history and keep it in perspective. All right. So with that in mind, if you guys have not joined the mailing list, we're right at like 2,000 people on the mailing list, which is pretty awesome. If you're not in our Discord, please hang out there. You guys have gotten chatty enough in Discord that sometimes I can just sort of read and catch up, but I don't necessarily, especially with all the traveling the last 2 weekends. I haven't been hopping in a lot, but Ollie and Nick and everybody else is in there, so definitely check it out. And if you just want to bullshit, not necessarily about M&M, about gardens and beer and everything else, that's my Discord for the stream. And here's our YouTube channel, so that you can watch past VODs. I think that covers everything. I'm going to wrap up for today. I'm going to go eat so I can hop in and try to figure out what's going on with, this quest, play around with some other stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm not traveling this weekend, so I will be here Thursday. Apologies for being gone the last 2 Thursdays, but it's definitely been worthwhile for me. I'll see everybody on Thursday, and who knows, we may even have new content added that I'll be playing through and sort of checking out. Cool. Appreciate all of you being here. I'll say goodbyes. Rev, later. Nordan, take care. Demon, see you, buddy. Belfaster, see you Thursday. Grix, bye-bye. Kimmery, have a great day. D loves pudding. Later. Don't let me forget our duel. It will eventually happen. You want to duel in real life? That would be fantastic. Do you like to wrestle? Yeah. All right. Bezic, thank you so much for that. Kronos, later. Oh, you were on the wrestling team? Hell yeah, I'm down. If we're ever in either person's country. Oh, 6th grade. Flea, good to see you again. All right, guys. Thanks again. I will see you guys either in Discord or on Thursday. Have a wonderful week until then. Thank you very much, and bye.